Welcome to the Artificial Fluency Podcast. I'm Emma.
And today we're diving deep into one of the most defining aspects of modern life, social media and our digital existence. In this comprehensive one-hour episode, we'll explore the language, culture, and impact of social media platforms, examine how digital communication has transformed human relationships, and discuss both the opportunities and challenges of living in our hyper-connected world. Emma, whether you love it or hate it, social media has fundamentally changed how we communicate, consume information, build relationships, and even perceive ourselves. From the moment we wake up and check our phones to the last scroll before bed, digital platforms have woven themselves into the fabric of our daily lives in ways that would have been unimaginable just 2 decades ago. For English learners, understanding social media culture isn't just about mastering new vocabulary, though we'll certainly cover plenty of that today. It's about grasping the nuances of how people actually communicate in digital spaces, recognizing the unwritten rules of online interaction, and developing the skills to navigate these platforms effectively and safely. Today's episode will take you on a journey through the evolution of social media, the psychology behind our digital behaviors, the language patterns that have emerged in online spaces, and the broader implications for society, relationships, and personal well-being. We'll also explore practical strategies for using social media mindfully and productively while maintaining your mental health and authentic relationships. Let's begin by examining the landscape of social media platforms and understanding what makes each one unique. The diversity of platforms reflects the varied ways humans want to connect, share, and express themselves online. Facebook, which started as a college networking site, has evolved into a comprehensive platform for staying connected with friends and family, sharing life updates, and joining communities based on shared interests. The language on Facebook tends to be more personal and narrative-driven, with longer posts that often tell stories about life events, share opinions, or spark discussions. Instagram has revolutionized visual storytelling, creating a culture where life is curated through carefully selected images and short videos. The platform has given rise to new forms of creativity and self-expression, but also new pressures around image perfection and lifestyle comparison. Instagram's language is more succinct, often relying on hashtags, emojis, and brief captions to convey meaning. Twitter, now known as X, operates as a real-time information network where brevity is essential. The character limit has forced users to develop a unique form of compressed communication, leading to creative abbreviations, thread structures, and a culture of rapid-fire commentary on current events. Twitter has become a powerful tool for news dissemination, political discourse, and public conversation. LinkedIn functions as the professional networking hub of social media, where users present polished versions of their career achievements and industry insights. The language here is more formal and business-oriented, focusing on professional development, industry trends, and career opportunities. TikTok has captured global attention with its short-form video content, creating new forms of entertainment, education, and cultural expression. The platform has its own unique language patterns, influenced by viral trends, audio clips, and generation-specific humor. YouTube serves as both entertainment platform and educational resource, hosting everything from casual vlogs to professional documentaries. The comment culture and community-building aspects of YouTube create their own linguistic patterns and social dynamics. Understanding social media requires mastering a unique vocabulary that has emerged organically from digital culture. These terms aren't just technical jargon, they represent new ways of thinking about communication, relationships, and social interaction. Let's explore some essential social media terminology. Engagement refers to how people interact with content through likes, comments, shares, and other forms of participation. High engagement indicates that content resonates with audiences and sparks interaction. Going viral describes when content spreads rapidly across platforms, reaching far beyond the creator's usual audience. Viral content often taps into universal emotions, current events, or cultural moments that people feel compelled to share. Influencers are individuals who have built significant followings and can affect their audience's opinions, behaviors, and purchasing decisions. The influencer economy has created new career paths and marketing strategies, fundamentally changing how brands connect with consumers. Algorithms are the complex systems that determine what content users see in their feeds. Understanding algorithms has become crucial for content creators and marketers trying to reach their intended audiences. Echo chambers and filter bubbles describe how social media platforms can create isolated information environments where users primarily encounter opinions and information that confirm their existing. Echo chambers and filter bubbles describe how social media platforms can create isolated information environments where users primarily encounter opinions and information that confirm their existing beliefs. Trolling refers to deliberately provocative or inflammatory behavior designed to elicit emotional responses, while cyberbullying involves using digital platforms to harass, intimidate, or harm others. Digital footprint encompasses all the traces of a person's online activity, from posts and comments to searches and site visits. This concept has become increasingly important as employers, educational institutions, and others use online information to make decisions about individuals. FOMO, fear of missing out, describes the anxiety that arises from seeing others' experiences on social media and feeling like your own life doesn't measure up. Conversely, JOMO, joy of missing out, represents the satisfaction some people find in disconnecting from constant digital stimulation. The way we communicate on social media has developed its own distinct characteristics that differ significantly from face-to-face or even traditional written communication. Understanding these patterns is crucial for effective online interaction. Brevity has become essential across most platforms. Whether it's Twitter's character limits or Instagram's caption culture, social media has trained us to communicate more concisely. This constraint has led to creative solutions, acronyms, abbreviations, and symbolic language that convey maximum meaning in minimum space. Visual communication has exploded in importance. Emojis, GIFs, memes, and images often carry as much meaning as words, if not more. The ability to read visual communication, understanding the subtle meanings of different emoji combinations, or recognizing meme references has become a form of digital literacy. Hashtags have evolved from simple categorization tools into complex forms of commentary, humor, and community building. The strategic use of hashtags can add layers of meaning to posts, connect content to broader conversations, or demonstrate cultural awareness. The concept of threads, connected series of posts that tell longer stories or present complex arguments, has developed as a way to circumvent character limits while maintaining narrative coherence. Real-time communication has created expectations for immediate responses and constant availability. The seen notifications on messaging platforms have added new social pressures around response times and engagement. Context collapse is a unique feature of social media communication where audiences that would normally be separate, family, friends, colleagues, acquaintances, all see the same content. This requires careful consideration of how messages might be interpreted by diverse audiences. The asynchronous nature of most social media communication, where messages are sent and received at different times, has created new norms around conversation flow and response expectations. Let's examine the psychology behind social media behavior and understand why these platforms can be so compelling, addictive, and sometimes problematic. The design of social media platforms is intentionally engaging, using psychological principles to capture and hold our attention. Variable ratio reinforcement is one of the most powerful psychological mechanisms at play. Like slot machines, social media provides unpredictable rewards. Sometimes your post gets lots of likes, sometimes it doesn't. This unpredictability keeps us checking our phones, hoping for that next dopamine hit from positive feedback. Social validation through likes, comments, and shares has become a measurable form of approval that can significantly impact self-esteem and mood. The quantification of social approval through these metrics has created new forms of social pressure and comparison. The fear of missing out drives compulsive checking behavior. Social media platforms capitalize on this by constantly suggesting that something important might be happening in our absence. The endless scroll design ensures there's always more content to consume. Confirmation bias is amplified by algorithms that show us content similar to what we've previously engaged with. This can create echo chambers where our existing beliefs are reinforced rather than challenged, potentially leading to political polarization and close-mindedness. Social comparison theory explains why social media can negatively impact mental health. When we constantly see curated highlights of others' lives, it's natural to compare these peak moments to our own everyday reality, leading to feelings of inadequacy or dissatisfaction. The illusion of choice and control makes us feel like we're actively deciding what to see and share, when in reality, algorithmic systems are heavily influencing our experience. This can create a false sense of agency while actually manipulating our behavior. Parasocial relationships, one-sided emotional connections with content creators or influencers, can provide feelings of companionship and belonging, but they may also substitute for real-world social connections. Social media has fundamentally transformed how we build, maintain, and understand relationships. These changes have both positive and negative implications for human connection and social well-being. Long-distance relationships have been revolutionized by social media platforms that allow constant communication through text, voice, video, and shared experiences. Families separated by geography can maintain daily contact and share life moments in real time. However, the quantity of connections has often increased at the expense of quality. Many people have hundreds or thousands of friends or followers, but report feeling lonelier than ever. The superficial nature of many online interactions can't fully replace the depth and nuance of face-to-face relationships. Social media has created new relationship categories that didn't exist before. What do you call someone you follow on Instagram but have never met in person? How do you define your relationship with someone you only interact with through comments and likes? These ambiguous connections form a significant part of our social networks, but don't fit traditional relationship models. The documentation of relationships has become expected. Couples feel pressure to share their romantic milestones online. Friends expect to be tagged in photos together, and major life events seem incomplete without social media acknowledgement. This documentation can strengthen bonds by creating shared memories, but it can also create pressure to perform happiness and success. Digital communication has changed conflict resolution patterns. Some people find it easier to express difficult emotions through written messages, while others struggle with the lack of nonverbal cues. Misunderstandings can escalate quickly online, but thoughtful digital communication can also provide space for reflection before responding. The concept of sliding into DMs, direct messaging someone you don't know well, has created new ways to initiate romantic or professional connections, but it has also led to unwanted attention and harassment. Social media stalking, extensively researching someone's online presence, has become a normal part of modern dating and friendship, raising questions about privacy and healthy boundaries. The impact of social media on mental health has become one of the most important discussions of our digital age. Research has revealed both positive and negative effects, highlighting the importance of mindful usage patterns. On the positive side, social media can provide crucial support networks for people dealing with mental health challenges, rare diseases, or difficult life circumstances. Online communities can offer understanding, resources, and encouragement that might not be available in a person's immediate physical environment. Mental health awareness has been significantly increased through social media campaigns and individual sharing. The destigmatization of therapy, depression, anxiety, and other mental health topics has been accelerated by open discussions on these platforms. However, the negative impacts are substantial and well documented. Constant social comparison can lead to decreased self-esteem, particularly among young people who are still developing their sense of identity. The highlight reel effect, seeing only the best moments of others' lives, can create unrealistic expectations and dissatisfaction with one's own circumstances. Cyberbullying has emerged as a serious problem with real-world consequences. The anonymity and distance provided by digital platforms can make people more cruel than they would in person, leading to harassment that follows victims into their homes and private spaces. Sleep disruption caused by late-night scrolling and the blue light from screens has significant impacts on both mental and physical health. The addictive design of social media platforms can interfere with healthy sleep patterns and relaxation. Information overload and doom scrolling, endlessly consuming negative news and content, can increase anxiety and feelings of helplessness. The constant stream of global crises and conflicts can overwhelm our emotional processing capacity. The pressure to maintain an online persona can be exhausting and inauthentic. The curation required to present a perfect life online can disconnect people from their genuine emotions and experiences. However, awareness of these issues has led to improved platform design, mental health resources, and digital wellness strategies that can help mitigate negative impacts while preserving the benefits of online connection. Let's explore how social media has transformed the landscape of news consumption and information sharing. The democratization of information has had profound implications for journalism, public discourse, and our understanding of truth itself. Traditional gatekeepers, editors, journalists, and media institutions no longer have exclusive control over what information reaches the public. Anyone with a smartphone can become a citizen journalist, sharing real-time updates from events as they unfold. This has led to faster news dissemination and diverse perspectives that might not have been covered by mainstream media. However, this democratization has also created challenges around accuracy and verification. The speed of social media can lead to the spread of misinformation, as false or incomplete information travels faster than fact-checkers can verify it. The pressure to be first often outweighs the responsibility to be accurate. Echo chambers and algorithmic filtering mean that people often receive news that confirms their existing beliefs, rather than challenging them with diverse perspectives. This can lead to political polarization and a fragmented understanding of reality, where different groups operate with completely different sets of facts. The business model of social media platforms, which prioritize engagement over accuracy, can amplify sensational or emotionally charged content regardless of its truthfulness. Content that makes people angry, afraid, or outraged tends to generate more clicks, shares, and comments. Influencer culture has blurred the lines between news, entertainment, and advertising. When social media personalities with millions of followers share their opinions on current events, their influence can rival or exceed that of traditional news outlets, despite having no journalistic training or ethical obligations. The phenomenon of cancel culture, where public figures face consequences for past or present statements or actions, has created new forms of accountability, but also raised concerns about due process, proportionality, and the possibility of redemption and growth. Deepfakes and sophisticated manipulation techniques have made it increasingly difficult to distinguish authentic content from fabricated material, challenging our traditional methods of evaluating truth and credibility. Emma. The economic impact of social media extends far beyond the valuations of tech companies. Entire industries have been disrupted, new career paths have emerged, and economic relationships have been fundamentally altered. The creator economy has generated entirely new categories of employment. YouTubers, Instagram influencers, TikTok stars, and podcast hosts can build substantial businesses around their personal brands and content creation. This has democratized fame and entrepreneurship in unprecedented ways. Traditional advertising has been transformed by social media marketing. Brands now invest heavily in influencer partnerships, social media campaigns, and community management. The ability to target specific demographics with precision has made social media advertising incredibly effective, but also raised privacy concerns. The creator economy has generated entirely new categories of employment. YouTubers, Instagram influencers, TikTok stars, and podcast hosts can build substantial businesses around their personal brands and content creation. This has democratized fame and entrepreneurship in unprecedented ways. Traditional advertising has been transformed by social media marketing. Brands now invest heavily in influencer partnerships, social media campaigns, and community management. The ability to target specific demographics with precision has made social media advertising incredibly effective, but also raised privacy concerns. Small businesses have gained access to global markets through social media platforms. A local artisan can now sell products worldwide, and service providers can build client bases far beyond their geographic location. However, this has also increased competition and created new challenges around standing out in crowded digital markets. The gig economy has been facilitated by social media and related platforms. Freelancers, consultants, and service providers use these platforms to find clients, build portfolios, and establish professional reputations. Data has become one of the most valuable commodities in the global economy. Social media platforms collect vast amounts of user information, which they monetize through targeted advertising and other services. This has raised important questions about privacy, data ownership, and economic justice. E-commerce integration with social media has created new shopping behaviors. Social commerce, buying products directly through social media posts, has streamlined the path from discovery to purchase, changing how consumers interact with brands and make buying decisions. The attention economy has made human focus a scarce and valuable resource. Companies compete intensely for our attention. The attention economy has made human focus a scarce and valuable resource. Companies compete intensely for our attention, leading to increasingly sophisticated and sometimes manipulative design strategies. Privacy and security concerns have become paramount as social media platforms collect unprecedented amounts of personal data. Understanding these issues is crucial for anyone participating in digital life. Data collection on social media platforms is extensive and often poorly understood by users. Platforms track not just what you post and share, but also what you view, how long you spend looking at different content, what you click on, and even what you type but don't send. This information is used to build detailed profiles of user preferences, behaviors, and characteristics. Location data from mobile devices allows platforms to track physical movements and build patterns of behavior. This can be used for targeted advertising, but also raises concerns about surveillance and personal safety. Facial recognition technology and photo tagging create databases of biometric information that can be used to identify individuals across different platforms and contexts. The permanence of digital images means that photos shared today could be searchable and identifiable decades in the future. Third-party data sharing means that information shared with one platform may be accessible to numerous other companies and organizations. The complex web of data partnerships and acquisitions can make it difficult to track where personal information ends up. Security breaches and data leaks have exposed personal information from millions of users, demonstrating the risks of centralized data storage and the difficulty of securing large databases against sophisticated attacks. The Cambridge Analytica scandal revealed how personal data could be harvested and used for political manipulation, highlighting the potential for social media data to be weaponized against democratic processes. Children and teenagers face particular risks from inadequate privacy protections, as they may not fully understand the long-term implications of sharing personal information online. However, awareness of these issues has led to improved privacy controls, stronger regulations like GDPR, and user education about protecting personal information online. Let's examine the global and cultural implications of social media, particularly how these platforms, primarily designed by Western companies, interact with diverse cultural values and communication styles worldwide. Cultural communication styles vary significantly across the globe. High-context cultures, where meaning is often implied rather than explicitly stated, may struggle with the direct communication style that dominates many social media platforms. Conversely, low-context cultures might find the subtlety of some online communication confusing. The English language dominance of major social media platforms has created both opportunities and challenges. While English has become the lingua franca of the internet, this can marginalize non-English speakers and limit the diversity of perspectives in global conversations. Different societies have varying comfort levels with self-promotion, public sharing of personal information, and individual expression versus collective harmony. Social media platforms designed with Western individualistic values may not align with more collectivistic cultural approaches to privacy and self-presentation. Government regulation and censorship of social media varies dramatically across countries. Some nations block major platforms entirely, others heavily monitor and restrict content, while still others take a more hands-off approach. These differences create fragmented global digital experiences. Religious and traditional values sometimes clash with the open sharing culture of social media. Issues around modesty, family privacy, authority structures, and religious observance can create tensions for users trying to navigate between online and offline cultural expectations. Social movements and political activism have been transformed by social media's ability to organize, mobilize, and amplify marginalized voices. From the Arab Spring to #MeToo to climate activism, social media has enabled rapid global coordination of social change efforts. However, these same tools can be used to spread hate speech, organize violence, and destabilize societies. The challenge of moderating content across cultures with different values and definitions of acceptable speech remains largely unsolved. Cultural appropriation and misunderstanding can be amplified through social media, as content from one culture can be decontextualized and spread globally without proper understanding or respect for its origins. The generational divide in social media usage reveals fascinating differences in how various age groups approach digital communication and online presence. Understanding these differences is crucial for effective cross-generational communication. Digital natives, those who grew up with internet technology, often have intuitive understandings of online social dynamics that older generations may struggle to grasp. They're comfortable with multiple simultaneous conversations, rapid platform switching, and complex digital identity management. Millennials, who experienced the transition from analog to digital communication, often serve as bridges between generations. They remember life before social media but have fully integrated these platforms into their adult lives, giving them unique perspectives on both the benefits and drawbacks of digital communication. Generation X approaches social media more cautiously, often using it primarily to maintain existing relationships rather than build new ones. They may be more concerned about privacy and professional implications of their online presence. Baby boomers and older generations often use social media for different purposes, staying connected with family, sharing life updates, and consuming news. Their communication style tends to be more formal and complete, sometimes leading to misunderstandings with younger users who communicate in fragments and implied meanings. Each generation has preferred platforms and communication styles. While older users might prefer Facebook for its comprehensive features and familiar interface, younger users might gravitate toward TikTok, Snapchat, or emerging platforms that prioritize visual content and ephemeral messaging. The concept of digital footprints affects generations differently. Younger users have grown up understanding that their online activities are permanent and searchable, while older users may not fully grasp these implications. Conversely, younger users might be more willing to share personal information online, having normalized constant digital documentation. Professional implications of social media usage vary by generation and industry. While some older professionals avoid social media to maintain privacy, younger workers might see a strong online presence as essential for career development. Emma, let's explore strategies for mindful and healthy social media usage. As these platforms have become integral to modern life, learning to use them consciously and beneficially has become an essential skill. Setting intentional boundaries is crucial for healthy social media use. This might involve designated phone-free times, limiting daily usage hours, or creating physical spaces where devices aren't allowed. The key is making conscious decisions about when and how to engage rather than mindlessly scrolling. Curating your feed intentionally can dramatically improve your social media experience. Unfollowing accounts that consistently make you feel negative emotions, seeking out diverse perspectives, and following accounts that inspire, educate, or bring joy can transform your digital environment. Regular digital detoxes, planned periods away from social media, can help reset your relationship with these platforms and provide perspective on their role in your life. These breaks don't have to be permanent. Even short breaks can provide valuable insights. Practicing critical media literacy involves questioning the content you encounter online. Who created this content? What might their motivations be? What perspective is being presented, and what might be missing? Developing these analytical skills can help you navigate the complex information landscape of social media. Using privacy settings effectively can help you maintain control over your personal information and online interactions. Regularly reviewing and updating these settings ensures that you're sharing information intentionally rather than by default. Engaging authentically rather than performatively can help maintain your genuine identity online. This means sharing content that reflects your real interests and values rather than trying to project an image for social approval. Building real-world relationships and activities ensures that social media supplements rather than replace meaningful offline connections and experiences. Balance is key to preventing digital relationships from becoming substitutes for face-to-face interaction. Recognizing signs of problematic usage, such as anxiety when unable to check social media, constant comparison with others, or neglecting offline responsibilities, can help you adjust your habits before they become seriously detrimental. The future of social media continues to evolve rapidly, with emerging technologies and changing social attitudes shaping new possibilities and challenges. Understanding these trends can help us prepare for the digital landscape ahead. Virtual and augmented reality technologies are beginning to integrate with social media, promising more immersive and interactive online experiences. These technologies could fundamentally change how we perceive and interact with digital spaces, potentially making online interactions feel more like face-to-face communication. Artificial intelligence is becoming increasingly sophisticated in content creation, curation, and moderation. AI-generated content may become indistinguishable from human-created material, raising new questions about authenticity and truth in digital spaces. Decentralized social networks, built on blockchain technology, promise to give users more control over their data and digital identities. These platforms could challenge the dominance of centralized platforms and create new models for online interaction. The metaverse concept envisions persistent virtual worlds where social interaction, work, and entertainment converge. While still largely theoretical, this vision could represent the next evolution of social media beyond current platform-based models. Regulation and legislation around social media continue to develop as governments worldwide grapple with the challenges these platforms present. Future regulations may significantly change how platforms operate and what rights users have over their data and digital experiences. Mental health awareness and digital wellness are becoming increasingly important considerations in platform design. Future social media may include more robust tools for managing usage, promoting positive interactions, and protecting user well-being. The creator economy will likely continue expanding and professionalizing, potentially leading to new support systems, career paths, and economic models for content creators. Generational changes will continue to influence social media evolution. As digital natives become the dominant user group, platforms may evolve in ways that prioritize the communication styles and values of these younger users. The metaverse. As we conclude our comprehensive exploration of social media and digital life, it's important to reflect on how these technologies have fundamentally altered human experience and what this means for our individual and collective futures. Social media has democratized communication, creativity, and commerce in unprecedented ways. Voices that were previously marginalized now have platforms to reach global audiences. Small businesses can compete with multinational corporations. Artists and creators can build direct relationships with their audiences without traditional gatekeepers. However, these same technologies have created new forms of inequality, manipulation, and social division. The digital divide separates those with access to technology and digital literacy from those without. Algorithmic bias can perpetuate and amplify existing social inequalities. The concentration of power in a few large tech companies raises concerns about competition, privacy, and democratic governance. the psychological and social impacts of social media are still being understood and addressed. While these platforms can provide valuable connection and support, they can also contribute to mental health challenges, social comparison, and disconnection from real-world experiences. Our relationship with truth and information has been fundamentally altered. The abundance of information available through social media can be empowering, but it can also be overwhelming and confusing. The challenge of distinguishing reliable information from misinformation has become a critical life skill. The concept of privacy has evolved dramatically. Younger generations may have different expectations about what should remain private versus what can be shared publicly. This generational shift has implications for everything from employment practices to criminal justice to international relations. Social media has accelerated social change by enabling rapid organization and mobilization around shared causes. However, this same acceleration can lead to mob mentality, hasty judgments, and insufficient time for reflection and nuanced discussion. The global nature of social media has created new opportunities for cross-cultural understanding and collaboration, but it has also enabled the spread of hate speech, misinformation, and cultural misunderstanding across borders.
I think that's a great point to consider because we always want to do what's best.
As we wrap up this extensive examination of social media and digital life, I want to emphasize that these technologies are tools, powerful ones that can be used for tremendous good or significant harm, depending on how we choose to engage with them. The key to thriving in our digital age lies not in avoiding these technologies entirely, but in developing the skills, awareness, and intentionality needed to use them wisely. This includes understanding their psychological effects, maintaining critical thinking about the information we encounter, building authentic relationships both online and offline, and regularly reflecting on how our digital habits align with our values and goals. For English learners, social media represents both an incredible opportunity to practice language skills and connect with speakers worldwide, as well as a complex cultural landscape that requires careful navigation. The informal, rapid-fire communication style of social media can be challenging to master, but it's increasingly important for full participation in English-speaking digital communities. I encourage you to approach social media with curiosity rather than judgment, awareness rather than automaticity, and intention rather than compulsion. These platforms will continue to evolve, and our relationship with them must evolve as well. Remember that behind every profile, every post, and every comment is a real human being with their own experiences, emotions, and perspectives. Approaching digital interactions with empathy, respect, and genuine interest in others can help create the kind of online environment we all want to participate in. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive into social media and digital life. I hope this exploration has provided you with new insights, vocabulary, and perspectives that will serve you well as you navigate our increasingly connected world. This is Emma from Artificial Fluency, reminding you that in our digital age, being fluent means more than just knowing the language. It means understanding the culture, psychology, and social dynamics that shape how we communicate and connect. Keep learning, keep questioning, and keep connecting meaningfully with others, both online and off.